Nicole. Conversations with Nicole. Let's talk about it. Tell me all about it. I'm here. I wanna know what's on your mind. Ooh, the world needs to hear from you, and I'm so glad to have a conversation to reach the nation. And it's all about you. We'll help each other to discover innovative ways to positively change the world. Let's talk about, let's talk about, yeah, let's talk about conversations with Nicole.
Greetings. Welcome to Conversations with Nicole. I am Nicole Everett, your host. And Conversations with Nicole is a talk show based in Tallahassee, Florida, focused on connecting the community through conversations. And today is what I call Wellness Wednesday. Wellness Wednesday is an opportunity for you, me, and my guests to talk about whatever it is we want to talk about. And today's topic is the power of social work, the power of social work. And my special guest is Dr. Marilyn Spearman, who has a very special event coming up, a Mardi Gras sponsorship gala that she does for master level social workers. So she is going to join me very shortly to tell us all about that and to lead us into this conversation about the power of social work. So I want to invite you all to tag a friend, a family member, a coworker, a social worker, and let them know they need to be on here with us. We are live on Conversations with Nicole Facebook and YouTube, and this is an interactive live, and we fully expect to hear from you. So if you will, before I bring on Dr. Spearman, let us know what city and state you are tuning in from by putting your city and state in the comments so we can give you a shout out. I see you, Mr. Warren Cave, my brother here in Tallahassee. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you so much. And yes, the power of social work, which is a very interesting topic. So, listen, social workers are very important people, and the work that they do just helps to make our community better, a better place, help us through different situations and circumstances that, we may need some new solutions, or they help plug us in with resources, that sort of thing. So this, again, is a very important topic, and our guest has been in the trenches, not only as a social worker, but also teaching and also being the department chairs for various social work departments in academia. So I'm going to read her bio in just a moment. But again, please like, share, let folks know they need to be on here. Again, Wellness Wednesday is an opportunity for us to engage with one another. We are all about mental health and wellness, and particularly in Black and Brown communities, and encouraging us to get our checkup from the neck up and get the help that we need. So I see you, Rolanda Dennis. Thank you for being here. She is a clinician here in Tallahassee, Florida. Thank you. I appreciate you so much for tuning in tonight. And my mom in Miami is tuning in. So thank you for being here, Mama. I really appreciate you. All right. So I am going to read a little bit of Dr. Spearman's bio. So Dr. Spearman has a lifelong love of education, service, social work, and a mission to educate disadvantaged students. She has always supported scholastic excellence by giving of herself financially and providing tutorial sessions and through the encouragement of disadvantaged scholars to strive towards superior performance in pursuit of higher education. She is a Savannah, Georgia native. She is also a graduate of St. Francis in Fort Wayne, Indiana, as well as the University of Louisville and the Ohio State. She has taught at FAMU. She has been the chair of the Department of Social Work at FAMU, also at Albany State, taught and chair of the Social Work Department. And her time there, I think, has also inspired her to found and create this Spearman Foundation, which again supports um, master level social workers, and she will tell us more about that when she comes on. But she is someone who she's retired from academia, but she continues to challenge students to become knowledgeable and credentialed in their chosen profession through the establishment of the scholarship that she has created. So, y'all, help me welcome Dr. Marilyn Spearman.
Good
Yay!
evening. How are you?
Good evening. Good evening. I'm well. I'm well. How are you?
I'm just fine, thank you. I
Nice.
appreciate you having me on your program.
My pleasure, my pleasure, my pleasure. So, I want to ask a question that I often ask my guests. I know I talked a little bit about what you have done, but I want to hear from you. Who are you? Who is Marilyn Spearman?
I really, I consider myself a native of Savannah, and as a child, my family believed in education,
Mm,
and as I grew older, I pursued my education to the highest level, and I feel that as you grow yourself, you need to give back. So this foundation is for giving back. I
mm,
also felt like I needed to give back. That's why I returned to the South to teach at FAMU first and then at Albany State because I taught at white public institutions. So I thought I would give back to the HBCU. And that's really what I'm about, trying to make sure that younger students know and understand what social work is about. And so many people really don't guide their children into social work because they have a limited amount of information about social workers.
mhm.
So I think that if I continue to talk to people and to inspire young people to get into social work, maybe this will cast some of these, I don't want to call it excursions, but what people think about what we do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when you and I talked prior to coming on the live tonight, you had so many things to say about different types of careers in social work, which I found quite intriguing. And
Sure.
so, we'll get into some of that as well. But thank you for
Mhm.
sharing who you are. I really do appreciate that. I want to pause because I see a few more folks have joined us. We have Miss Nancy O'Farrell, who is the executive director of NAMI Tallahassee. Thank you for being here. Nancy and I do a lot of work in the community around mental health, and particularly in Black and Brown communities. In fact, I'm gonna throw this out here. I should have mentioned this on Monday night show. We are actually co-hosting and coordinating a youth mental health training on Friday, youth mental health training on Friday at Sunshine Health, who's a good partner of ours. And that's for anybody that works with youth workers, your teachers, your trainers, your coaches, your counselors. It's absolutely free. I'll share the link in terms of signing up. We only have 30 slots. I think about 20 of them have been reserved thus far. But it'll be at Sunshine Health on Friday from 8:30 to 4:30 p.m. It's free, and we'll have lunch. Leon County government is our sponsor for that event, but this is something that we are doing to help the community. So thank you for being here, Nancy. All right. Let's see. Collective Sisterhood TV. I attended FAM. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Appreciate you. All right. Kiosha, right here in Tallahassee, my friend, she's here as well. She said, "Go Rattlers." Let's see. Collective wants to know, did you ever teach any undergrad interviewing classes?
Yes,
Okay.
I have taught across the social work curriculum.
Okay. When were you at FAM?
I was at FAM from 98 until 2003.
Okay. Very good. Very good.
Mhm.
Very good. All right. Rolanda said, Family Department of Social Work truly appreciates you, Dr. Spearman. Thank you for all you do. Yes.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. So, Collective Sisterhood said, my name is Joquetta. Okay. Thank you for being here, Joquetta. All right. Very good. So, before we dive into the topic, I want to give you an opportunity to talk about the foundation as well as the gala that's coming up.
Okay. The Spearman Foundation was started when I retired, and it was kind of rocky, but small foundations start, and we just have to work hard at it. And the purpose of the foundation really is to give a scholarship to a master level, someone going into an MSW program. And the reason why FAMU and Albany State has been chosen is because I taught there. And I'm hoping that as we become more financially stable, that we will be able to include other HBCUs. I know that that's going to take time, and it's going to take more people to become involved in being sponsors or being annual donors, but we're asking that that can happen. And of course, my goal is, and I know it's a long-term goal, is to perhaps get enough partnerships to get into the millions, so that all we have to do is offer the scholarship to all of the HBCUs. But I know that takes time, and it takes hard work, and it takes getting other people to sponsor us. And we're just on a small scale right now.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, since we have started the foundation, we have given 5 scholarships. And this year's our 3rd gala. Of course, the pandemic stopped us. So the first gala was done in 18, 19, and then the pandemic, and we had, well, it wasn't, that was my retirement party, but I think after the gala, after the pandemic, we had our 2nd gala, and this is our 3rd gala. And this is the first gala we've had in Tallahassee.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking forward to the people coming out in Tallahassee to support this.
Indeed. So that's this coming Saturday, right?
Yes, that's this coming Saturday from 7 to 11 at the Tallahassee Automotive Museum.
Mm-hmm.
So what was that other question? I'm sorry, I was going to go into that.
Oh, that was it. It was about,
Okay.
yeah, about the foundation as
Yes.
well as the gala that was coming up.
And we invite anyone who want to be an annual sponsor or a partner. We do partnerships if we can find them.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes if you become a partner, then you have voice in if you want to identify an HBCU that we need to embrace.
Indeed. Indeed. Okay, wonderful. I see that Tracy Gole has joined us. Thank you for being here, Miss Tracy. Appreciate you. So, Joquetta says she graduated in 98.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
You
All right.
probably graduated when I got there.
Probably, indeed. All right. Well, we will give more information about the gala at the end in terms of how folks can get tickets and connect. But I want to kind of dive into this talk about the power of social work. And I think we should start off by talking a little bit about how you got involved in social work.
Well, I basically got involved in social work quite early, because when I was maybe 10, I had an aunt that was an MSW in Savannah, Georgia, and she used to allow me to ride with her.
Okay.
And that's how I got introduced to social work. But as I grew older, I learned how important it was, and how it's not the power of it, it's how you can help people have their own voice. And that's what
Mm,
we're interested in, having people be able to speak for themselves. And the first thing when in talking about power, social work power start with knowing the future, or seeking the future for an individual.
mm,
And you do that when you begin, I would say, when you reduce harm and introduce power to a
okay.
person. And sometimes that requires some deep consideration on how variables within your community or how major things impact a person's life.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see that, some people say that social workers have superpower, but we don't. We it's our training. It's that
Okay.
it starts to emerge when we are able to do things in an increasing speed. Once you do your interviews and you find out what the need of the person is, you go with speed to complete your biopsychosocial assessment, and you see the details coming together. And as you complete your documentation, that's the vision that shows you the possible future for your client.
Mm.
So, and we don't always call people clients. We call them patients. We call them group members. It depends on what situation we're working in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Very good. I forgot to mention this. Dr. Monica uh, connected us, and
Yes,
she is actually in St. Martin right now.
yes.
And so she is tuning in with us right now as well. So thank you for being here, Dr. Monica. I appreciate you so much. And she's one of your board members, correct?
Yes, she is.
Mhm.
And she's done very well for us. Thank her so much.
Yes, yes, yes. All
Mhm.
right, very good. So you said a few things that are kind of resonating with me in terms of social workers and the power that you all kind of give to your clients slash patients, right?
And well, depending on the settings, you have clients in some settings, patients in other settings, and group members in another setting.
Okay, got it, got it, got
So
it.
we don't always call our people patients.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And
Mhm.
so, I think a lot of times people kind of think of social work from the standpoint of, those people that kind of take people's children away from.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
you're correct.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing that steer young people away from social work, unless they have had the experience of having a social worker come into their homes. They are not sure what social workers do.
Mm-hmm.
And as a matter of fact, in both schools, there is a class on what do social workers do. And that's the first class that most new students take so they can become aware of all the things that social workers do other than take babies, as,
Mm-hmm.
as they say. But in talking about our power, we have to instill in our students their abilities to do things. So it starts in the classroom, and then we have to let them know that we are assured of what we know so they can be better people at doing social work.
Yeah.
So, and that comes from, I guess, we teach our students self-determination, dignity, and worth.
Mm-hmm.
But we teach them that so they can pass it on to their clients and their group members and their patients. So that in itself help us to look at policies that eliminate racism and inequality.
Mm. I love that. I'm still so the words that you just said about self-determination, dignity, and worth are still like ringing in my ears in terms of you all being taught that in order to pass that along to the people that you serve.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I see, let me pause just one moment because I do see some other folks that have joined us. One being my sister Shayla. Thank you for being here. She's down in South Florida. She's a teacher, uh, mhm, which I think is social work as well.
Oh,
A
yeah.
form of social work. All right. So Joe Quetta said that they think we're their allies and family when they trust us. Some kids think we're their second parents.
That is correct.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed.
And
And
we have to be very mindful of that because we have to make sure that those children still respect their parents as parents.
mm-hmm.
So in working with children, we have to be solely aware that children tend to become attached because so many children that's served by social workers are detached from their parents until you go in and work with them and help them understand what's going on in their immediate area.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
Mm-hmm.
Very true. Okay. So you said that one of the things that you mentioned is that the class that is often taught to social workers initially is, what does it mean to be a social worker?
What do we do?
What do you do?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I shared with you some of that on 3 levels: the bachelor's level, the master's level, and the PhD level.
Yes. Yes. So talk a little bit about that in terms of what is done.
Well, on the bachelor's level, there are several types of jobs that a bachelor social worker, once they have their first degree, can do.
Mm-hmm.
Case management, behavioral management aid, they can do community outreach, they can do eligibility, and they can do human service specialists. They can be a juvenile court liaison. They can't work in, they can be the liaison. They can
Mm-hmm.
also be a probation officer. They can be a social work assistant, okay, but not a social worker.
I gotcha. Okay.
Okay, now on the master's level, you can be a behavioral analyst, you can be a child welfare worker, and then on that list, you can be a child and family social worker. That's different from the child welfare worker. Then
Hmm.
you can be a clinical caseworker manager. Now, forensic, which is criminal justice social work,
Mm-hmm.
you have to have a master's degree to do that.
Okay.
Healthcare social worker, you have to have a master's, but you don't necessarily have to be licensed. Mental health and substance misuse social workers have to have license.
Mm-hmm.
Licensed clinical social worker, you can have your independent private practice. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The LMSW is the licensed master social worker. A licensed master social worker in some states cannot have a private practice, but a licensed clinical master social worker can.
Mm-hmm.
Medical social workers must have an MSW. School social workers must have an MSW. When I started out, I was a school social worker and I didn't have to have an MSW, but times changed.
Right.
So now, as a school social worker, you have to have an MSW.
Okay.
And you can become a social work supervisor or therapist counselor. Those are all the things that you can do with your master's degree.
Okay.
And I tell a lot of people, if you don't want to teach, why do a PhD?
Mm.
Because you can do so many things with just your master's degree and survive and perhaps have a higher income than a PhD.
Okay.
And that's, a lot of people don't believe that, but it's true, because if you start your private practice, you can, that's why I talk to students, because their parents say you can't make any money as a social worker, but that's not the purpose of social work. The purpose is serving.
Mm-hmm.
So under the PhD area, you can be a behavioral specialist or supervisor. You do supervision. You do you can be a child welfare researcher. You can be an executive director or for any social service organization, a professor. That's it. So
Okay.
that means that if you're in that arena, you can still have your private practice. You can still do other things because most states, most people who achieve the PhD has already been licensed. For
Mm.
instance, I'm licensed in Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan.
Okay.
And I choose not to do private practice in Florida or Georgia, so I didn't bother with it.
Mm.
So
Gotcha.
each state that you go to, you can become a private practitioner if you keep your license and you are already for that state. Then there is another license that social workers do have. It's called an Academy of Certified Social Workers. You have to have a licensure, clinical license before you can get that.
Mm.
Those are the things that we have to tell students when they're in the process of becoming a social worker.
Gotcha. All right. Again, a number of things that I was not aware of, and I think a number of my viewers were not aware of, and so just shedding light on the different occupations, vocations that social workers can go into, depending on what level of degree they receive.
Mhm.
Is important. Now, when you and I talked, you mentioned something about traveling social workers, which
Yes.
I had never heard of. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I think in today's world, a lot of social workers know about traveling social workers. They can, once you get your licensure, licensed clinical social work,
Mm-hmm.
or your licensed master's degree, master's social work, you can go to other states that need a social worker. And most people travel to these states because they don't have enough social workers to do the work. And
Mm-hmm.
while I'm mentioning that, social work need has gone up from 22%, now it's at 28%.
Oh, wow.
And it looks like it's going to stay there for the next 10 to 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because I think of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So many people realized that they had some conditions that they were unaware of
Mm-hmm.
until after the pandemic.
For sure.
So we do have, and I did traveling social work back in the 80s. So, but it wasn't common.
Mm-hmm.
But now I talk to some of my former students now, they are doing that.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
all over the place.
Oh, wow.
So, and you don't have to be in that state. Some states will just advertise and you fill out your application and they decide whether they want you to come.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
We have a few other folks that have joined us. Dr.
Mhm.
Anika Fields, who is here in Tallahassee, but she is a psychologist who has a private practice, but she's also the director of the counseling center at the Florida A&M University. So thank you
Oh,
for being here. Yes, as well as Alethea, who goes by I Am Truth on YouTube. She said the purpose of social work is service. To do the work, one must be a servant. That's profound.
that's profound.
Mm,
She's exactly right.
yes, thank you so much, Alethea, for
Mhm.
being here. So the traveling, I've again have not heard of a traveling social worker until talking to you, but it sounds very intriguing to me. So I do have a question around licensure. If you're licensed in one state, are you able to, do
Travel?
traveling
Yes.
social work services in other states?
Yeah. The states who advertise this allow you to use your license.
Okay, got it.
So you come in as if it's under a company or something, you come under that.
Mhm.
So they are allowing you to use your license
Okay.
to say they have licensed clinical social workers.
Okay. All right. Very good. So we are at a little bit almost to halfway through our talk. So I want to definitely pause for a little bit of a station ID and let folks know who may be just joining us. I am on with Dr. Marilyn Spearman, a retired social worker, but not retired from the standpoint of her service still in the community. She is the CEO and founder of the Spearman Foundation that has a focus specifically on serving social workers on the master's level. And she has a scholarship gala that's coming up on this coming Saturday here in Tallahassee at the Antique Car Museum at 7, I think it's 7 to 11 p.m., correct?
That is correct.
And scholarships will go to master level social workers attending FAMU and Albany State University. And so we're talking about the power of social work. And again, this is an interactive live. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them in the chat so that we can address them. So we got Mr. Warren Cave on, and he said, I am a social worker, might bootleg because I don't have
I
a
don't have a
degree,
degree.
but I am a social worker. Okay, Warren, let me hear what you're talking about. He said, does it make me a traveling social worker when I go out of town and do what I do? Many
I
folks
don't know
teach
what
life
you
skills. Oh, Warren, my special friend. I don't know. That's a special type of social worker right there. Um,
That's service.
that is
That's
service.
social service,
It's community service. Yes, sir.
community service.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So Joe Quetta wants to know if you've published any books.
Not a book. I did my, I have some publications, but not any books.
Okay. All right.
I've been too busy. Actually, what, in the academe, if you're a chairperson, you don't really have time to do a lot of writing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You have to do it before you get to that level, but after that, you don't really have a lot of time to do that.
Makes sense. All right. Dr. Monica said really good teachers exhibit important values like social workers, caring, empathy, non-judgmental philosophy of life and living.
Yes.
Agreed. Thank you for sharing that. All right. We got Mr. Marcus Boston, who is an author in the house. He's in the Tampa area. Thank you for being here. So, again, we've been talking about the power of social work and the increased demand for social workers. I know we talked about the mindset that social workers don't really make any money.
That's true.
That's true.
That's our mindset.
That's the mindset. Okay.
Yes.
All right. All right. But I think some social workers have been able to do well for themselves.
Well, you have to move from the bachelor's level.
Okay.
And once you get at the master's level, you're fine.
Oh, okay. All right.
If you remembered, I said if a person gets a PhD, sometimes they get less than people in the master's level.
Mm-hmm. You did say
because if a master social worker have a private practice, they become consultants. Mm-hmm. There's so many things that you can do with that master's degree.
Yeah.
So I think when people talk about lack of finance, you're talking about bachelor level people.
Okay.
But the idea is for educators in the area, in the field of the profession, is to say to your bachelor level social workers, you must go to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
And you should encourage them to do it the next year. The information about the MSW is if you go to a bachelor's program that has been not certified, but the CSW comes in and they make sure that that particular program is fine. When you leave that program, you can go to an MSW program for 1 year and get your master's.
Okay.
The other part of the MSW program is you can have any degree and you can go to an MSW program for 2 years and get a master's in social work. But only the undergraduates coming from a school that is qualified, they can go to an MSW program for 1 year and get their master's.
Okay.
So it's important that professional social workers who are in the classroom teaching these young people to impress upon them that they must go to that level.
Yeah. Okay. So that, again, good to know. Good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Monica says, I've been to a gala sponsored by the Spearman Foundation. The look on the scholarship recipient's face will make your heart sing. Promise. Tickets are on sale. Are still on sale.
Thank you, Monica.
All right, indeed. And then Rolanda said advanced standing.
Yes, that's advanced standing when you move from an undergraduate program, BSW program, going to an MSW program for 1 year.
Okay, gotcha. And then, so you get the degree, but then there's licensure, which entails so many hours.
Well, you can get a licensed master social worker without the supervision that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But the licensed clinical social work, in most states, you have to have supervision.
Okay.
Most schools, if you get your master's degree, you can sit for the license maybe in the next month or two or whatever, if you feel like you're capable of doing it.
Hmm. Okay.
But there is a class at the master's level that most students have to take, psychosocial. I'm gonna say psycho. I'm sorry, I get it in a minute. Psychopharmacology. They have to take that, and part of that information is on the exam.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. Good deal. So tell me a little bit more about kind of what it takes to be a social worker from the standpoint of the humanity and maybe the empathy that goes into the work that's being done.
Well, first thing, even for me as a social worker, I always tell social workers, first and foremost, find someone that you can, when you have bad days, you need to have someone that you can talk to and become more comfortable in your profession yourself. You cannot teach me to be calm and to um, be my own voice if I don't have my voice.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to start with ourselves first. I don't know whether that was your question, but I think it's important that social workers know that they need to have another social worker or another person that they can talk with when they have bad days, or somewhere they can go and just debrief.
Mm-hmm.
I was fortunate in the fact that the undergraduate school I went to, they had a psychologist on hand.
Mm-hmm.
And when we would go in class and talk about things that we thought about and we weren't sure that we were interested in, and we would sit to that psychologist to have a discussion. So I think that if that was built in every undergraduate program, we would have much better social workers.
Mm. So somebody that they can talk to.
Yeah, you need to have somebody you can debrief with.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to pause here and ask the social workers who are on the live currently in the audience if you would share with us whether or not you have a person that you can talk to and debrief with and exhale with. If you don't mind sharing, again, this is a safe space for us to engage with one another, but in the comments, let us know if that's something that you are privileged to have to assist you with the work that you do. Let us know. Let us know. Let us know. So, you know, I have these talks with and mostly social workers, right? Surprisingly enough, I guess maybe not so surprisingly enough, because the psychology route can be I think a bit more labor intense in terms of the schooling and that sort of thing. But um, you know, some of the things that we talk about are, as you're stating, having a person that you can um, talk to, a confidant, someone that's going to be non-judgmental, that's going
Mhm.
to um, also give it to you straight, though, right? And
Yes, must be straight.
mhm, right, and not coat things, but also
Right.
just self-care, the importance of self-care, um, you know, taking breaks,
Hmm.
exercising, being sure you get plenty of rest, journaling, going for walks, connecting with nature, you know, all of these types of things. So, you know, these are all just things that help us be our best selves, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So I see a few people chiming in right now. I see my girlfriend Susan from Virginia who has just joined us. Thank you for being here. Dr. Atia, who is in Jacksonville, she said healers need healers.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. A, for being here. Rolanda said, I do, and I also encourage and provide resources for my students. Wonderful.
Great. Great.
Thank you for being here. We have Miss Pumpkin here from Tallahassee. Thank you for being here with us, my sister. And Benicia Hires, who is a clinician here in Tallahassee, she said, I have my therapist friends who I can vent to because they understand. I also engage in therapy for myself as needed. Love it. Yes,
Very
yes,
good.
indeed. So glad to hear that. And thank you for sharing that. So, yeah, I just wanted to again highlight that because I think oftentimes we think of these people who, have powers, being these super people, but they are human beings. They have weaknesses and vulnerabilities, and they need assistance too.
True.
So I threw that question out there because, again, I want the viewers and people who will watch this replay to understand that you are not alone. Even the people who are helping, as Dr. A said, healers need healers. Yes.
Healers can't heal themselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm. Yes, 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 yes. Dr. Monica said, I have like-minded colleagues that I can seek out when the need arises.
mhm.
Yes, 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 yes. Wonderful. Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. So, we've talked about some of the vocations. We've talked about some of the energy that is needed to do this work, as well as some of the things are that social workers learn in terms of that self-determination, that dignity, that
Mhm.
self-worth, which is very important to pass on to their clients. Because sometimes um, we can meet the people that we serve, and I'm putting myself in that mix. Not that
Mhm.
I'm a social worker, but I am a community worker,
Right.
much like Warren Cave, my brother Warren Cave, who had a comment earlier. But um, we can find the people that we come across feeling very defeated and um, sometimes hopeless and just without dignity, without worth, without um, motivation. And so, there's a certain level, I believe, of oh, how do I want to say this? There's a certain level of encouragement that we have to have
Yes.
in order to encourage others.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, this feeling that you're talking about, self-worth, dignity, all of those things come with our clients, our patients, our group members.
Hmm.
And it's up to us to help them so they can hear themselves and know their voice. By the end of any treatment you give clients, patients, group members, or whatever, end of that session or sessions,
Hmm.
they should find their own voices.
Yes.
Now, keep in mind that there's a high recidivism with mental health. So when you are working with mental health patients, you need to be able to say, if you need me, call the office.
Hmm.
Don't give them your phone numbers because you'll never ever have rest. But the reason why that you have to do it that way is because they may get another social worker when they call in and not you.
Hmm.
They very seldom give the same person to the same social worker.
Hmm.
So, and it's important that, like children, clients shouldn't just have you by themselves.
Okay.
They should be able to, when you actually, when a session is done with the client, you give them things to do continuously to
Hmm.
keep them in their space where they are or to help them grow more. But if they find that they are not growing, then they have that option to call in and come back.
Okay.
It's just that you should give them options.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, you might lose them if you don't give people options.
Give 'em
It's
op-
just like anything else. If you don't give options, then what? Are you going to just tell me what to do?
Mhm.
Choices and options.
Choices and options. Gotcha.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So, you know, again, we're talking about the power of social work and, this work also being, um, it can be heavy.
Yes,
Hmm. It can be heavy. And I think sometimes social workers may um, get very attached to their work.
they do.
Hmm.
The one thing that social workers must always also realize is there is always a population that you don't want to work with.
Mm.
So if you know that population, don't work with them because you aren't going to do them any good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, when young people go through school and they have to do their different placements and that kind of thing, they should go to a different placement at each time they can get so they can understand what kind of client will I work with. Who is it that I don't want to work with? That
Mm-hmm.
sounds selfish, but if you have a particular type of client that you don't want to work with, you're doing them, if you're working with them, you're doing them a disservice because you don't want to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's best not to even go to that particular agency if that's the type of client you don't want to work with.
Yeah. So I will also say this. I have run across clinicians that have said that they work with all populations and deal with all types of conditions. If you run across somebody that says they work with all populations and deal with all types of conditions, run.
Please.
Because there is no way that they can do that. No way.
No,
Yeah.
no.
So having a specialty, whether that's a particular population or a particular condition
Mhm.
is a good thing.
It's a good thing. And that means that you know that particular population and you're good at it.
Yes.
Now, you can be good at several populations,
Right. But not all
but
of
not all.
them.
You can't be good at all populations.
Yes. 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 So just want to make that distinction
Oh, yes.
because, and I get it. I mean, I know people are trying to, get business or whatever the case may be, but, let's be real.
Yes.
Hmm.
And I always tell new social workers, especially MSWs, when you apply for jobs, read the job, not policies, but they have it on the wall. They have it online. Read about these organizations before you apply for a job.
Hmm.
You don't look at the dollar signs. Look at what the organization is about
Yeah.
before you say, I'm going to apply,
Hmm.
because it may not be what you want.
Right. It may not be what you want. So do your research, do
Do
your
your research. And when you interview, ask questions.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, indeed, indeed. All right. Very good. Well, I want to give you an opportunity to give us any, closing remarks or final comments as it relates to the power of social work, because I definitely want to spend a few more minutes as we close out to talk about the gala and promote that and give people all the information they need. So, any closing remarks or closing thoughts about the power of social work that you wish to share with the
Oops.
viewers?
Did you lose me?
We're right here.
Well, I don't see you. I'm sorry.
Uh-oh. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I'm
Okay,
here.
you're gone.
Uh-oh.
Hold on a minute. Well, you can hear me, right?
Yes.
All right, there we are. Um, First thing I'd like to say this. In my professional journey, I find that in order to become a professor or a teacher or whatever, you need to have many experiences as a social worker. That gives you the power to deal with many types of students. Okay. For instance, I've worked in schools as a school social worker. I've done long-term care. I was a trauma social worker. I worked in the hospital. I worked in home care. I had a private practice. I worked for the courts. So there are things that all of these um, all of these positions have given me insight so that when I'm in the classroom, I learn that all students learn differently and they all bring something to the table. So you have to craft your teaching to all of the students, not to just rote, not just what's in the book. So I think that the more experience that you have, the better you can do your work as a social worker.
Okay. Very good point. The more experience that you have, the more exposure that you have,
Yes.
having some different experiences, different environments, dealing with different
Right.
populations. So all that will help you kind of tap into your life's work from the standpoint of who you should be serving.
Right.
Sometimes that switches up, like, you have different seasons.
Right.
And so maybe in your earlier years that you may work with a particular population or particular condition, and that may shift over time. So just be open to that.
Right. And one thing that's important too, social workers must learn when it's time to stop talking, listen, make it quiet for a minute. And you'll find that whomever you having this session with will think more clearly. Just give them a moment, savor the moment, and wait until that person responds. But you can't wait a long time. It's just that if you quiet for a moment, it'll give them a chance to think or ask a question that they may not have thought of.
Very good. All right. Well, thank you. So let's talk more about this gala.
Well, the gala is on Saturday, August 5th, at the Tallahassee Automotive Museum.
Yes.
And it starts at 7 and it ends at 11. And we are going to have, what do you call it?
You have a live band?
Yep, a live band. It's the Essence Band.
Okay.
And we're going to also have auctions. We have, I don't have the descriptions with me, but we have one of our ladies did a FAMU throw.
Oh, okay.
And then we had one of our board members is going to do car. What do you call it when they do all this extra stuff on the car?
Oh, like
cleaning and buffing and all of that.
Okay.
Detailing. We have auction on a detailer.
Okay.
And we also have an African female head. It's not hollowed. It's really heavy.
Okay.
And we're going to auction that.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
An art piece?
Art piece, yes. Actually, it was donated to us by Dr. Monica.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So it's beautiful. And also we're doing a basket from ASU with all of their paraphernalia in it.
All right.
And I think we have 5 things.
Okay.
And also the Tallahassee Auto Museum will let us auction off one of their tickets for a family to come in.
Okay.
So
okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So we have several things that we're doing, and hopefully we can get that done. But if the auction items aren't gone, we'll put them online and people can auction later.
Okay.
Because people don't carry money.
Right. So this is the third annual
one, and our tickets are $100, and that includes a meal and live dancing, and you're going to get the opportunity to go through the museum. the
Okay.
first half hour. They're going to let you go through the museum. Oh, shucks.
So
You're
third,
gone again. Hold on, you're gone again. There you
okay.
are.
All right. So
It
third,
must be
third
it
annual,
must be my computer. Go ahead.
okay, third annual scholarship gala. It's a Mardi Gras theme.
Hmm.
And masks are encouraged.
And if they don't have them, we do. We keep them.
Okay. All right. And so again, Tallahassee Museum on Mahan Drive.
6800 Mahon.
Yep, 6800 Mahan Drive from 7 to 11. Tickets $100 per person. Again, this is a scholarship gala for the Marilyn Spearman Foundation, which seeks to assist master's level social workers at FAMU, Florida A&M University, and Albany State University. And so Dr. Spearman has been, doing this work, and this gala is a major fundraiser for them and assists them in doing the work that they do. So to the extent that you can support this effort, please do. Again, a lot there's not much out there, if anything, for master level social workers, and they are the ones that have kind of the lion's share of the vocations out there, with social work degrees, in terms of the degree level work. And so this this foundation is here to support them and their efforts. So um, how can folks connect with you, Dr. Spearman, or with the foundation?
Okay, they can do their tickets on spearman-foundation.org.
Mm-hmm.
They can actually send me an email at spearmanfoundation@gmail.com.
Okay.
And also, if they Google it, the foundation will come up.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. So it's scrolling at the bottom of the screen. So please take note and feel free to support this effort, because again, Dr. Spearman and her board and her team are really trying to assist. Not trying to, they are assisting students who are master's level social workers at FAMU and at Albany State, and the need for this vocation, uh, these clinicians is great, and I do personally believe it's just going to increase.
It
Uh,
will.
mhm. With the way the world is, and all of what we're seeing, people are going to need folks to talk to and to assist them with their issues. So I see. Let's see. Dr. Monica said Joe Ellens. Oh, is Joe Ellens doing the catering for the?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's gonna be some good eating right there. I ate at Joe Ellens today.
Yes.
All right. So shout out to Mr. Joe, Miss Teresa of Joe Ellens, downtown Tallahassee. Felicia Thomas is here. Thank you for being here, Esquire. She said, I have so much respect for social workers in my line of work. Yes, she is an attorney, and she does a lot of work around guardianship, and
Yes.
as well as with done recently did a workshop on heirs properties and things of that nature. So she does a lot of trust and things like that. So thank you for being here and sharing. Susan said, great information. We'll listen to the beginning. Okay, thank you. Yeah, for those of you who are listening to the replay or will be listening to the replay, just put replay in the comments so we'll know, and feel free to share whatever you like as it relates to this program. So I think we are, coming to a close, but I definitely want to thank you, Dr. Spearman, for being here and sharing your wealth of knowledge. It's not every day that we have someone with your level of wisdom and experience on the live. So I'm truly grateful, and congratulations on all the work that you're doing with your foundation and for assisting the young people that you are. I know they are, truly grateful and will truly benefit from the work that you are doing to assist them with doing. As Antonio White has just said, social work is God's work. He's a
Yes,
clinician.
it is.
He is a clinician here in
Is
Tallahassee
it?
as
Yeah.
well. So thank you, Antonio, for being here. So he said, thanks for sharing your wisdom. Yes. All right. Well, y'all, we're going to just close it on now. For those who may be new to the platform, I definitely invite you to subscribe to the Conversations with Nicole Facebook. Well, subscribe to the Conversations with Nicole YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And we are here on Mondays and Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. Mindset Monday, Wellness Wednesday. Just again, encouraging us to get our checkup from the neck up and connect with clinicians of color. So support Dr. Spearman and check out the gala. I'm sure she'll receive donations outside of the gala if you do
Yes.
choose to donate to the cause. And again, we appreciate you all being here, and we will see y'all next time.
All right. And thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
Mhm.
All right. Bye bye.